Have you ever felt like you're always the one chasing, giving, and overthinking when it comes to men? Maybe you've asked yourself, why does he seem so distant when I'm giving him my all? The truth is, most women fall into a trap, the trap of over-availability, constant texting, and prioritizing him above all else. It feels like the right thing to do, but it often backfires. Here's the kicker. Men, by their nature, value what they have to work for. So, what if I told you there's a way to flip the script, to make him chase you without resorting to mind games or manipulation? This guide is not about playing hard to get. It's about rediscovering your power and showing him the value of your presence by sometimes stepping back. Think of it as embodying Love Stoic, where your inner strength and emotional self-sufficiency become irresistible. Today we're diving into 10 foolproof techniques rooted in timeless wisdom and modern psychology that will not only make him pursue you but also elevate your own sense of confidence and self-worth. Are you ready to stop chasing and start being chased? Stick with me until the end, because the final technique might just change the way you approach love forever. Let's begin. 1. Let him miss you. When was the last time someone missed you? Truly missed you? The kind of longing where your absence lingered like the scent of a beautiful perfume, impossible to forget. If you're always available, always the first to reply, always ready to cancel your plans for him, then there's no room for him to feel your absence. And here's the secret: absence creates value. Men are wired to appreciate what isn't readily available. Think of the most exquisite art pieces in the world, hidden away in museums, seen only by those willing to seek them out. The same applies to you. If you're constantly at his disposal, he won't see you as a masterpiece to admire, but as something he can easily overlook. How can he miss you if you're always there? So, how do you let him miss you without feeling like you're playing games? It starts with small, intentional acts of withdrawal. When he texts, resist the urge to respond immediately. Take your time, not out of spite, but because you're genuinely engaged in your life. Prioritize your passions, your friends, and your growth. The next time he asks you to hang out, don't rearrange your entire schedule. Politely let him know you're busy but would love to see him on another day. By doing this, you subtly communicate, I'm interested, but my life is full and vibrant. This isn't about ghosting him or ignoring him completely. It's about creating space. When you pull back, it gives him time to think about you, to wonder what you're doing, and to realize how much he enjoys your presence. That moment he reaches out again, that's when you know he's starting to miss you. But be careful not to confuse this with manipulation. This is about genuine self-respect and self-sufficiency. Love Stoic teaches us that relationships thrive when both individuals maintain their independence and enrich each other's lives, rather than consuming them entirely. When he sees that you're a woman who values her own time and happiness, he'll naturally begin to value you more. Now, let me ask you this. What would it feel like to know that he's thinking about you even when you're not around? That he's wondering what you're doing, who you're with, and when he'll get to see you next? That's the magic of letting him miss you. It's not about being absent, it's about being unforgettable. And here's a thought to leave you with. When he finally realizes what he's missing, how will you respond? Will you continue to prioritize yourself and maintain the balance, or will you slip back into over-availability? The choice is yours, but I can promise you this: your absence, when done with grace and intention, will become your most powerful presence. Are you ready to try this first step? Let's move on to the next transformative technique. Stay with me. You don't want to miss what's coming. 2. Be the prize, not the hunter. Let me ask you something. When did you stop seeing yourself as the prize? So often, women fall into the trap of chasing a man, bending over backward to win his approval. But let's flip the script. What if, Instead of being the one chasing, you became the one being pursued. This isn't about arrogance or playing games. It's about stepping into your power, knowing your worth, and showing him that you are the prize he's lucky to have. Here's a simple truth. Men are naturally drawn to women who exude a confidence and self-assurance. They're not just looking for someone who's attractive. They're looking for someone who knows they're attractive. Someone who carries themselves like a queen. When you embody this mindset, you transform from just another option into the only option. But how do you shift into this prize mindset without coming off as conceited or standoffish? It starts with how you see yourself. Instead of obsessing over whether he likes you, ask yourself, do I like him? Instead of rearranging your life to fit into his world, ask, does he bring value to my life? This subtle change in perspective isn't just empowering, it's magnetic. Men are hunters by nature, and they thrive on the thrill of pursuit. When you place yourself as the prize, you ignite this instinct in him. But this doesn't mean playing hard to get in an obvious or manipulative way. Instead, it's about creating a life so full, so rich and so vibrant that he wants to earn his place in it. Think about it. What do you bring to the table? Maybe you're passionate about your career, you love traveling, or you've got hobbies that light you up inside. When you focus on building a life that excites you, something incredible happens. You naturally become more desirable. You're no longer the woman waiting for his call or text. You're the woman he's chasing because he can see that you have something rare and special. And let's not forget boundaries. Being the prize means you don't settle for less than you deserve. If he's inconsistent, disrespectful, or doesn't match the energy you're putting into the connection, it's okay to walk away. In fact, it's necessary. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our choices, our self-respect, and to let go of the things we can't. You can't control how he feels, but you can control how much access he has to your time and energy. When you set these boundaries, you send a powerful message. I know my worth, and I won't settle for anything less than I deserve. Trust me. That level of self-assurance is intoxicating. He'll respect you more, value your time, and most importantly, he'll realize that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. Let me ask you this. What kind of woman do you want to be remembered as? The one who chased endlessly, or the one who carried herself like a queen, drawing him in with her grace, confidence, and independence? Being the prize is about embracing the latter. It's about showing him that your presence in his life is a gift, not a given. And here's the best part. When you truly see yourself as the prize, you won't have to work so hard to make him notice you. Your energy, your confidence, and your self-worth will do the talking. He'll see it in the way you smile, the way you carry yourself, and the way you hold your own in any situation. You won't need to chase him because he'll be too busy chasing you. Now let's bring this back to you. What's one thing you can do today to remind yourself of your worth? Maybe it's setting a boundary with him. Maybe it's diving headfirst into a passion you've been neglecting. Or maybe it's simply looking in the mirror and reminding yourself, I am the prize. If you're feeling inspired by this shift in perspective, let me know by liking this video and commenting number 1 below. Your voice matters, and your support helps create more empowering content like this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment of transformation. We've got so much more in store for you. And remember, the only person you ever need to impress is yourself. When you live with that kind of confidence, the right man will not only notice you, he'll do whatever it takes to be a part of your incredible life. Now that you've embraced the mindset of being the prize, let's move on to the next technique that will amplify your allure even more. You don't want to miss it. 3. Set boundaries. Imagine a life without boundaries, a life where you say yes to everything and everyone, even at the expense of your own peace and happiness. Does that sound fulfilling? Or does it sound exhausting? Boundaries are not just walls to keep others out. They're gates that let the right people in while protecting your self-worth and energy. When it comes to relationships, boundaries are essential for showing a man exactly how you deserve to be treated. Men are naturally drawn to women who value themselves, and setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to demonstrate that value. Without boundaries, you risk being taken for granted, overlooked, or worse, disrespected. So, what does setting boundaries look like in practice, and how does it make you irresistible? Let's break it down. First, understand that boundaries aren't about controlling him, they're about controlling yourself. You can't dictate how he behaves, but you can decide what behavior you will or won't tolerate. For example, if he consistently cancels plans last minute, or only texts late at night, you have the power to decide whether you'll entertain that kind of treatment. A woman with strong boundaries might say, "I understand things come up, but if this becomes a habit, I'll need to reevaluate how we spend our time together." This isn't about creating drama, it's about calmly and confidently setting a standard. When you set boundaries, you send a clear message. I respect myself, and I expect you to respect me too. Men notice this, and it challenges them to step up. Boundaries are not ultimatums, they're opportunities for a man to show you that he values you enough to meet your standards. A man who truly cares about you will respect your boundaries, and if he doesn't, he's showing you exactly why he's not the right one for you. This isn't about punishment, it's about self-respect. Boundaries also create a sense of intrigue. When you don't drop everything for him, when you don't say yes to every request, and when you don't let disrespect slide, you become someone he has to earn. This isn't playing hard to get, it's about being clear on your worth. Imagine he texts you at 11 p.m. asking if you're free to hang out. Instead of saying yes, just to keep him interested, you might respond with something like, "I appreciate the invite, but I value plans made ahead of time. Let's plan something for later this week." By doing so, you're not rejecting him, you're teaching him how to treat you. Boundaries are also deeply tied to emotional independence. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our reactions, and our standards. When you set boundaries, you're practicing emotional self-sufficiency. You're not relying on his behavior to validate your worth, you're defining your worth on your own terms. This quiet confidence is the essence of Love Stoic. It's magnetic because it shows that you're not afraid to walk away from situations that don't align with your values. Of course, setting boundaries isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable, especially if you're used to prioritizing others over yourself. You might worry, what if he doesn't like me anymore? But here's the truth. The right man won't be scared off by your boundaries. In fact, he'll be drawn to them. Boundaries don't push the right people away, they filter out the wrong ones. One of the most liberating aspects of setting boundaries is the clarity it brings. It allows you to see who is genuinely interested in you and who is simply taking advantage of your time and energy. A man who respects your boundaries is a man who respects you, period. And respect is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. As you practice setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift, not just in how men treat you, but in how you feel about yourself. You'll feel empowered, in control, and deeply connected to your own value. This isn't about being difficult or playing games. It's about showing that you know what you deserve and won't settle for less. It's about living by the principle that your time, energy, and emotions are precious gifts, not things to be handed out freely to anyone who asks. Think about the kind of man you want in your life. Do you want someone who challenges you, respects you, and cherishes you? Or do you want someone who takes you for granted, knowing you'll always be there no matter what? Boundaries are the difference. They are the framework for a relationship that is built on mutual respect and admiration, rather than convenience or complacency. So, as you move forward, ask yourself this: What boundaries do I need to set in my relationships? What behaviors will I no longer accept? And most importantly, how can I honor my own value every day? When you live with this level of self-awareness and confidence, you become irresistible, not because you're chasing anyone, but because you're standing firmly in your own power. That's the magic of boundaries, and that's the power of Stoicism in love. 4. Avoid displaying desperation. Picture this. You meet a man you're truly interested in, and suddenly, every text, every glance, and every interaction feels like a test. You find yourself waiting anxiously for his responses, overanalyzing his every word, and dropping everything the moment he shows interest. Sound familiar? If so, you're not alone, but it's time to stop. Desperation is the fastest way to extinguish attraction. When you chase someone relentlessly, you unknowingly send a message that you're overly dependent on their attention and approval. This energy can feel overwhelming, even suffocating, and it often pushes men away. But here's the good news. You can flip this script starting today. So how do you avoid looking desperate while staying true to yourself? It begins with recognizing your patterns. Are you the first to text him every morning? Do you drop everything to respond the moment he messages you? Are you always available, ready to rearrange your plans just to accommodate his schedule? These actions, while well-intentioned, communicate neediness. And neediness, as harsh as it may sound, is the opposite of what creates attraction. The key is to embrace emotional independence. This doesn't mean you should stop caring or showing interest, it means creating a balance. When a man sees that you have your own fulfilling life, he'll naturally want to be a part of it. Think about it. Isn't it more attractive when someone is fully engaged in their passions and goals rather than constantly seeking external validation? That's the essence of Love Stoic, living a life rooted in your own values and self-worth, not someone else's attention. Instead of chasing, start focusing on yourself. The next time he texts, pause before replying. Take a moment to consider what you're doing and whether responding immediately is truly necessary. When you prioritize your own time and energy, you signal that your life doesn't revolve around him. This isn't playing games, it's about reclaiming your power. Imagine you're working on a personal project, spending time with friends, or indulging in a hobby you love. He messages you, but instead of dropping everything, you finish what you're doing first. When you eventually reply, it's with a calm, confident energy, not the frantic eagerness of someone desperate for his attention. This subtle shift changes everything. He begins to see you as someone who values herself, someone who doesn't need constant validation to feel whole. Now, let's talk about how this approach affects him. Men are naturally drawn to mystery and challenge. When you're not always available, it sparks curiosity. He starts to wonder, what is she up to? Why isn't she replying right away? Who else is capturing her attention? This intrigue keeps him engaged and interested. You've shifted the dynamic, and now he's the one seeking your attention, not the other way around. But let's make one thing clear. This isn't about manipulation. It's about aligning your actions with your self-worth. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our behavior, our emotions, and our mindset. By choosing to invest your energy into yourself rather than chasing someone else, you're embodying this principle in the most empowering way possible. Desperation also clouds your judgment. When you're too focused on winning someone over, you may overlook red flags or settle for less than you deserve. By stepping back and centering yourself, you create the space to evaluate whether he's truly a good fit for you. Remember, you're not just seeking any connection, you're seeking a meaningful one. And a meaningful connection begins with mutual respect, not one-sided effort. So how do you break free from the cycle of desperation? Start small. If you feel the urge to send him a third text because he hasn't replied yet, stop and redirect that energy into something productive. If you're tempted to cancel plans with friends just to see him, remind yourself that your time with loved ones is just as valuable. And if he doesn't match your energy or effort, don't chase, step back and let him come to you. Now I want to hear from you. If this idea of avoiding desperation resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Your thoughts and feedback inspire us to keep creating content that empowers you to embrace your worth and live with confidence. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights that will transform your approach to love and relationships. Together, we'll continue to explore the art of attraction through self-respect, emotional independence, and timeless wisdom. As we move forward, keep this in mind. You don't need to chase anyone. The right man will recognize your value without you having to prove it. Now, let's dive into the next powerful technique that will elevate your allure even further. Stay with me. You're about to discover something incredible. 5. Redirect your focus. Imagine your attention as a precious, finite resource, like sunlight. If you direct it entirely at one person, pouring all your energy into them, they may take it for granted, as though it's an ever-present luxury. But when you redirect that light, spreading it to nurture different areas of your life, something remarkable happens. You not only flourish, but the person who once basked in your undivided focus begins to crave it. Redirecting your focus isn't about withholding attention as a punishment. It's about balancing your energy. Often women find themselves devoting so much time and thought to a man they're interested in that they neglect their own needs, passions, and goals. This imbalance can lead to feelings of depletion, dependence, and even resentment. But when you shift your attention back to yourself, you not only restore balance but also become infinitely more magnetic. Start by asking yourself, what areas of my life need more of my focus? Is it your career, your health, your friendships, or maybe a creative pursuit you've been putting off? By investing in these areas, you're not only enhancing your own life, you're sending a clear message to the man you're interested in. I'm a woman with a full, vibrant life. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than someone who's fully engaged in their own growth. Think of it this way. When a man sees that your happiness doesn't depend on his attention, he begins to view you differently. You're no longer the woman waiting by her phone, hoping for his text. You're the woman hiking a new trail, launching a project, or laughing over dinner with friends. Your energy becomes infectious, and he can't help but want to be part of your world. This shift is deeply rooted in the principles of Stoicism, which emphasize focusing on what you can control, your actions, your growth, and your happiness, rather than seeking external validation. When you stop orbiting around him and start living fully, you embody this love stoic approach. You're no longer reactive to his behavior. Instead, you're proactive about your own joy and fulfillment. Redirecting your focus also creates an element of mystery. When you're not always readily available, he begins to wonder, what is she up to? Who is she spending time with? Why isn't she as focused on me anymore? This curiosity is incredibly powerful. It shifts the dynamic, making him work harder to understand you and earn back your attention. But let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation. It's about genuinely enriching your own life. By dedicating time to your passions, you're not just becoming more interesting to him, you're becoming more fulfilled as a person. The benefits go beyond the relationship. You're cultivating a sense of self-worth and independence that no one can take away from you. Let's talk about practical ways to redirect your focus. If you've been spending your evenings waiting for his texts, replace that habit with something more fulfilling. Start a new fitness class, reconnect with friends, or pick up a book that inspires you. If you find yourself checking his social media obsessively, channel that energy into a personal project or learning a new skill. The goal isn't to distract yourself from him. It's to immerse yourself in activities that bring you joy and growth. As you redirect your focus, you may notice subtle changes in your interactions with him. He might start asking more questions about your life, showing greater interest in what you're doing. He might even express a bit of jealousy or concern, wondering if he's losing your attention. This is natural. It's a sign that your shift in energy is being felt. However, it's important to stay grounded. Redirecting your focus isn't about eliciting a specific reaction from him. It's about reclaiming your energy for yourself. Whether or not he notices or responds as you hope, the most valuable outcome is the way you feel about yourself. You'll find that you're less anxious, more confident, and more fulfilled. Ultimately, redirecting your focus is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that your life is worth living fully, regardless of anyone else's presence in it. And as you embrace this mindset, you'll find that the right people, including the man you're interested in, are drawn to you naturally, not because you're chasing them, but because your radiant energy is irresistible. Think about this. What could you achieve if you redirected just a fraction of the energy you've been giving him back to yourself? The possibilities are endless. When you make yourself your first priority, you unlock a version of you that is not only more attractive but also deeply empowered. That's the magic of self-focus, and it's the key to not just capturing his interest but transforming your own life in the process. 6. Limit social media interaction. Let's talk about the subtle yet powerful world of social media. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, it's a space where connections can spark and grow, but on the other, it can quickly turn into a stage where desperation and over-availability play out for everyone to see. So, how do you strike the right balance? How do you use social media to intrigue and captivate instead of overwhelm and repel? The answer lies in a simple yet transformative shift: restraint. Imagine this. He posts a new photo or story. Your first instinct is to immediately like it, maybe even comment something clever, and then check obsessively to see if he noticed your interaction. Sound familiar? Now flip the scenario. Instead of reacting instantly, you pause. You let the moment linger. You focus on your own life, your own activities, and you let him wonder why your name isn't the first to appear on his notifications. That pause, that moment of absence creates intrigue. The reality is, when you're always the first to like, comment, or watch his stories, you're sending an unspoken message. I'm always paying attention to you. While it might seem harmless, it can come across as overly eager, even desperate. Limiting your social media interactions shifts that dynamic. It gives you back control and subtly communicates, I have a life beyond you. This isn't about playing games. It's about focusing on how you show up, not just for him but for yourself. Social media is a tool, and like any tool, it's most effective when used thoughtfully. Instead of reacting to his posts, take the opportunity to engage with content that inspires you, builds you up, or aligns with your goals. Follow accounts that fuel your passions, join communities that support your growth, and use your online presence to reflect the amazing, multifaceted person you are. Now, let's explore the impact of restraint. When you're not constantly interacting with his content, you create a sense of mystery. He'll start to notice your absence, and questions will arise in his mind. Why hasn't she liked my post? What's she up to? Who else is catching her attention? This curiosity is incredibly powerful. It's not about manipulating him, it's about creating space for him to think about you in a way he wouldn't if you were always present. But there's more to it than just limiting likes and comments. Think about how you present yourself on social media. Are you posting with intention? Or are you sharing out of a need for validation? Instead of posting selfies or updates solely to catch his attention, shift your mindset. Share moments that genuinely reflect your life, your passions, your achievements, your joy. Let your online presence tell a story of a woman who's confident, dynamic, and fully engaged in her own journey. This approach ties back to the principles of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and social media is no exception. You can't control how he reacts to your posts or whether he even notices them, but you can control what you share and how you engage. By choosing to use social media mindfully, you reclaim your power and position yourself as someone worth pursuing. Of course, this isn't always easy. Social media is designed to keep us connected, often at the expense of our boundaries. You might feel the urge to check his profile, react to his stories, or post something designed to get his attention. But every time you resist that urge, you're strengthening your self-control and building a deeper sense of self-respect. That kind of emotional independence is magnetic. It's the essence of love stoic. So, what happens when he starts to notice your absence? He might begin to engage with your content more frequently, liking your posts or even reaching out directly. This shift isn't accidental. It's a natural response to the space you've created, a space that draws him in, not because you're chasing him, but because your online presence has become intriguing and unattainable. Now, I want to hear from you. If this idea of limiting social media interactions resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Your feedback helps create more content that empowers you to take control of your relationships and live with confidence. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for even more insights and strategies to help you unlock your full potential in love and life. Together, we're building a community of strong, self-assured individuals who understand the art of attraction through authenticity and self-respect. Remember, your social media presence is an extension of your life. Use it wisely and let it reflect the incredible person you are, not someone who's waiting for attention, but someone who commands it effortlessly. Now that you've mastered the art of online intrigue, let's move on to the next technique that will deepen his desire and keep him chasing you. Stay with me. There's so much more to discover. 7. Slow things down. Patience is a virtue, but in the whirlwind of attraction, it often feels like a forgotten art. When emotions run high and chemistry is electric, the natural instinct might be to dive in headfirst, to text him all day, see him every chance you get, and accelerate the connection as quickly as possible. But here's the truth. Relationships, like all meaningful things in life, need time to grow. Rushing only risks diluting the magic. Slowing things down is one of the most powerful ways to create space for genuine connection and desire. Think of it this way. When you rush, you eliminate the element of anticipation. Anticipation is what keeps the spark alive. It's what makes a good book impossible to put down, or a movie's final scene unforgettable. When you give a man time to miss you, to wonder about you, and to work for your attention, you transform the dynamic. You become a mystery to unravel, not a puzzle already solved. Slowing down doesn't mean showing disinterest or ignoring him entirely. It means being intentional about your availability and the pace of your interactions. For example, if he suggests meeting up on short notice, resist the urge to always say yes. Instead, let him know that while you'd love to see him, you already have plans. Suggest another day. This subtle move communicates 2 things. First, that your time is valuable, and second, that he'll need to plan ahead to be part of your world. This pace also applies to how often you communicate. Instead of responding to every text immediately or initiating conversations multiple times a day, let things unfold naturally. By giving him the space to reach out first, you allow him to take initiative. This doesn't mean playing games. It's about creating a balanced dynamic where both of you are contributing equally to the connection. Slowing things down also gives you the opportunity to truly assess the relationship. When you're not rushing, you can take a step back and ask yourself, is this man aligning with my values? Is he putting in the effort to get to know me? Does he treat me with the respect and kindness I deserve? These questions are essential, and the answers become much clearer when you're not caught up in the intensity of a fast-moving relationship. Moreover, Taking things slow is a way to build trust and emotional intimacy. When you give yourselves the time to learn about each other, to share experiences, and to grow together organically, the connection becomes more meaningful. It's the difference between a spark that flares up and dies quickly and a steady flame that burns brighter with time. This approach is deeply connected to Stoicism. The philosophy emphasizes the value of moderation and patience, knowing that good things take time and that rushing often leads to unnecessary complications. Slowing down allows you to focus on what you can control: your actions, your reactions, and your choices. You can't force a man to feel a certain way or act on your timeline, but you can set the rhythm of the relationship by being intentional and measured in your approach. Imagine the power in letting him wonder about you. After a wonderful date, instead of flooding his phone with messages, you give him time to process the experience and reach out first. After an engaging conversation, you let a little silence linger, allowing him to anticipate the next interaction. This space isn't a void, it's an opportunity for curiosity and longing to grow. Slowing down also gives you the chance to maintain balance in your life. When you're not consumed by the rush of a new relationship, you can continue to nurture your friendships, focus on your passions, and prioritize your personal goals. This balance not only makes you feel more grounded, but also makes you more attractive. A man who sees that you're not solely fixated on him will admire your independence and be drawn to your self-assuredness. There's a quiet confidence in moving at your own pace. It shows that you're not afraid of losing him because you trust in the strength of what you're building together. It also allows the relationship to develop naturally, free from the pressure of unrealistic expectations. And when the time comes for the relationship to deepen, it will be on a foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and genuine desire. So, ask yourself, what's the rush? By slowing down, you're not losing time, you're gaining depth. You're creating a connection that is not only passionate but also lasting. And in doing so, you're giving both yourself and him the chance to truly appreciate the journey. After all, the best things in life are worth waiting for. 8. The illusion of scarcity. Let's talk about a common but damaging mindset. The belief that one man is the only man for you, that somehow he's the pinnacle of everything you've ever wanted, and losing him would mean the end of your romantic possibilities. Sound familiar? This scarcity mindset can be incredibly disempowering, and it's time to let it go. When you believe that a man is your sole shot at happiness, you inadvertently give him all the power. You start acting out of fear. Fear of losing him, fear of not being enough, fear that someone else might take your place. This fear manifests in ways you might not even realize: over-texting, tolerating disrespect, or making excuses for behavior you'd never accept from anyone else. The illusion of scarcity traps you into thinking that his attention is your only source of validation. But here's the truth. The world is full of opportunities, and your value doesn't depend on one person's approval. What happens when you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance? Suddenly you reclaim your power. You start to see that there are countless potential connections waiting for you, connections with men who will value and respect you without requiring you to bend over backward. This shift isn't just liberating, it's magnetic. A man can sense when you're operating from a place of confidence rather than desperation. That quiet self-assurance, it's intoxicating. So how do you embrace this abundance mindset? Start by reminding yourself that you have options. The next time you find yourself overanalyzing his behavior or worrying about whether he's slipping away, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I acting out of fear or am I standing in my worth? Fear keeps you clinging to one person, while worth reminds you that you're deserving of someone who recognizes your value. This mindset doesn't just change the way you see him, it changes the way he sees you. When a man senses that you're not relying on him for your happiness, he feels both intrigued and challenged. Why? Because you're not projecting neediness. Instead, you're showing that you have a life full of joy, growth, and opportunity, whether or not he's part of it. And let me tell you, nothing sparks a man's interest like knowing he has to work to earn his place in your world. The illusion of scarcity also ties directly into Stoicism, which teaches us to focus on what we can control. You can't control whether a specific man chooses to pursue you, but you can control how you respond to his behavior. You can choose to walk away from someone who doesn't meet your standards. You can choose to invest your time and energy into people who reciprocate your effort. And you can choose to remind yourself every day that your happiness is not dependent on any one person. Think about the energy you project when you know you have options. You're less likely to chase, less likely to tolerate disrespect, and more likely to set boundaries. This energy is powerful because it's rooted in your own self-worth. It's the embodiment of love stoic, loving yourself enough to know that you deserve abundance, not scarcity, in your relationships. Let's make this practical. If you find yourself slipping into the scarcity mindset, take a moment to reframe your thoughts. Instead of thinking, "He's the only one for me," try saying, "If he's the right one, he'll show it through his actions. If he's not, I'm open to the abundance life has to offer." This simple shift can change everything. It frees you from the grip of fear and allows you to move forward with confidence. Now, what about him? How does this shift affect the dynamic between you? When you stop clinging to the idea of him being your only option, he feels the difference. He starts to notice that you're not as readily available, not as willing to tolerate disrespect, and not as desperate for his attention. This creates space for him to step up, to show you through his actions that he values you and wants to be part of your life. If he doesn't, then you've saved yourself from wasting time on someone who isn't truly invested. So here's the question. Are you ready to release the illusion of scarcity and embrace the abundance that's waiting for you? When you do, you'll not only transform the way you see relationships, you'll transform the way you see yourself. If this idea of abundance resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Your feedback inspires us to continue creating content that empowers you to live and love with confidence. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more powerful insights that will help you step into your full potential. Together, we're building a community that celebrates self-worth, emotional independence, and the art of attraction through authenticity. Remember, your value isn't determined by one man or one relationship. You are a woman of infinite worth, deserving of a connection that matches your energy and effort. Let go of scarcity, embrace abundance, and watch as everything changes for the better. Now, let's move on to the next transformative technique. Stay with me, you won't want to miss it. 9. Maintain emotional stability. Emotions are a beautiful part of who we are. They connect us, make us human, and allow us to experience the highs and lows of life. But in relationships, unchecked emotions can become a double-edged sword, especially when they lead to impulsive reactions or instability. Emotional stability isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about managing them in a way that exudes confidence and self-assurance. For a man, a woman who possesses emotional balance is magnetic because it signals maturity, strength, and trustworthiness. Think about the last time you felt anxious or uncertain about a man's feelings. Did you find yourself overanalyzing his actions, jumping to conclusions, or reacting impulsively to something small? Perhaps a delayed text made you feel ignored, or a casual comment triggered feelings of doubt. These moments, while completely normal, often lead to behaviors that can push a man away, clinging, over-communicating, or demanding reassurances. Emotional stability, however, changes the game. When you're emotionally stable, you don't need constant validation or reassurance to feel secure. You trust yourself and the connection you're building. This confidence allows you to approach challenges calmly and thoughtfully, rather than with panic or intensity. and this sense of calm. It's incredibly attractive. A man feels safe and grounded with a woman who knows how to handle her emotions gracefully. The first step to cultivating emotional stability is self-awareness. Recognize your triggers. What makes you feel anxious or insecure in a relationship? Is it a lack of communication, fear of abandonment, or something from past experiences? By identifying these patterns, you can begin to understand your emotional responses and take control of them. For example, if a late reply to your message makes you feel neglected, pause before reacting. Remind yourself that his delayed response likely has nothing to do with you. It could be a busy schedule, a moment of distraction, or simply his own communication style. Instead of jumping to conclusions, give him the benefit of the doubt. This doesn't mean ignoring red flags. It means not letting small, insignificant things derail your emotional balance. Another key aspect of emotional stability is learning to pause. When emotions run high, take a step back before responding. This pause allows you to process what you're feeling and choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting impulsively. It's a moment of power where you reclaim control over your narrative. Stoicism offers profound wisdom here. The philosophy teaches that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Imagine this: he forgets to call when he said he would. Instead of letting frustration bubble over into an angry message, you calmly address it later with clarity and respect. By managing your emotions, you maintain your dignity and set a standard for how you expect to be treated. Emotional stability doesn't mean you're unaffected by challenges, it means you handle them with grace. When conflicts arise, approach them with open communication and a willingness to listen. Instead of accusing or attacking, use I statements to express how you feel. For example, "I felt disappointed when you didn't follow through on our plans" invites a constructive conversation rather than defensiveness. Maintaining emotional stability also means finding balance in your life outside the relationship. When you're deeply invested in your own passions, friendships, and personal growth, you're less likely to be thrown off balance by minor issues. Your sense of self isn't tied to the ups and downs of the relationship, it's rooted in who you are. And here's the incredible part: when a man sees that you're emotionally grounded, it inspires him to be the same. Your stability becomes a foundation for mutual respect and trust, allowing the relationship to thrive. He'll admire your ability to navigate challenges without losing your composure, and he'll feel more connected to you because of it. I think of emotional stability as a quiet, unshakable confidence. It's not about being indifferent or aloof. It's about valuing your own peace and well-being above all else. It's about showing him that while you care deeply, your happiness isn't dependent on his actions. This balance creates a dynamic where both of you can bring your best selves to the relationship. So, the next time you feel emotions rising, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this reaction coming from fear or love? Am I responding to the present moment, or am I carrying baggage from the past? These questions can help you center yourself and respond in a way that strengthens, rather than strains, the connection. Emotional stability isn't just a skill for relationships, it's a way of life. It allows you to navigate all of life's challenges with grace and resilience, becoming the best version of yourself. And when you embody this strength, you'll find that it naturally attracts the right kind of people, those who value and respect you for who you are. Remember, the foundation of any meaningful connection is trust, and trust begins with emotional stability. When you cultivate this within yourself, you create a space where love can grow, free from the chaos of insecurity or fear. It's a gift to both you and your relationship, and it's a key part of embracing the Love Stoic philosophy that prioritizes self-respect, growth, and inner peace. 10. Place him on the sidelines. What if, instead of making him the center of your universe, You treated him like a cherished yet optional part of your already fulfilling life. This is not about diminishing his importance. It's about elevating your own. When you place a man on the sidelines, you're showing him that while he's welcome in your life, he is not your whole life. And that shift in energy, it's irresistible. Many women unknowingly prioritize a man too soon, rearranging their schedules, sacrificing their interests, and losing sight of themselves in the process. It's easy to fall into this trap when emotions run high, but here's the hard truth. When a man feels like he's the center of your world too early on, it removes the excitement of earning his place there. Men are hunters by nature. They crave challenge, respect those who value themselves, and desire to be part of something extraordinary, not something that feels handed to them on a silver platter. Placing him on the sidelines doesn't mean ignoring him or withholding affection. It means balancing your attention. Picture your life as a stage, with you as the star of the show. Your passions, career, friendships, and personal growth take the spotlight. He's in the wings, not forgotten, but waiting for his moment to shine in your world. When you live this way, you're saying without words, I am a woman of substance, and my life is full and vibrant with or without you. Now let's get practical. Start by evaluating where your energy is going. Are you constantly available for his calls or texts? Are you cancelling plans or skipping out on personal priorities to accommodate him? If so, it's time to make a shift. Begin by maintaining your commitments and pursuing your passions unapologetically. For instance, if he texts you during your workout or a night out with friends, don't feel obligated to reply immediately. Instead, respond when you're genuinely free. This isn't about playing games, it's about respecting your own time and priorities. Here's where it gets interesting. When you're not always at his beck and call, he'll start to notice. He'll wonder why you're not as readily available, and that curiosity will work in your favor. It's not because you're being distant, it's because you're genuinely busy living your life. This dynamic creates a sense of intrigue and makes him work harder to earn your attention. He starts to realize that your time is valuable, and so are you. This approach aligns perfectly with Stoicism, which emphasizes self-sufficiency and focusing on what you can control. When you place him on the sidelines, you're not relying on his presence to feel complete. Instead, you're cultivating a life so rich and fulfilling that he can't help but want to be part of it. This is the essence of Love Stoic, creating a love that enhances your life, not defines it. Another key aspect of placing him on the sidelines is setting boundaries. If he tries to monopolize your time or take your attention for granted, gently remind him that your life is full and balanced. For example, if he asks to meet up on short notice, you might say, I'd love to, but I already have plans tonight. Let's plan something for later this week. This response isn't rejecting him, it's teaching him to respect your schedule and make an effort. Now, you might be wondering, won't this push him away? The answer is no, at least, not if he's truly interested in you. A man who values you will step up to meet the standard you set. He'll respect your independence and be inspired by your self-assuredness. If he doesn't, then he's showing you he wasn't the right one to begin with, and that clarity is a gift in itself. Let's not forget the personal benefits of this approach. By placing him on the sidelines, you're giving yourself the space to grow, explore, and thrive. You're nurturing the parts of yourself that make you unique and fascinating. This self-focus isn't just good for you, it's good for the relationship. When two people come together as whole, fulfilled individuals, the connection is stronger, healthier, and more balanced. So, what's the takeaway? Stop chasing and start living. Show him that your life is a masterpiece in progress and that while he's welcome to join, he's not the artist you are. When you make this shift, you'll find that the right man doesn't just admire your independence, he's inspired to be part of the incredible life you're creating. If this shift in perspective resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Your feedback helps fuel this community and create more empowering content for women like you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights that help you embrace your worth, enhance your relationships, and step into your full potential. Together, we're rewriting the rules of love, one confident and self-assured woman at a time. As you move forward, remember this: you are the main character in your story, and the right man will work to earn a place in your incredible world. Keep living, keep growing, and let your light shine unapologetically. Now that you've journeyed through these 10 transformative techniques, take a moment to reflect. The power to create meaningful and magnetic connections doesn't lie in chasing someone or compromising your worth. It lies in embracing your unique value, setting boundaries, and living a life so vibrant and full that the right man is drawn to you naturally. By letting him miss you, placing him on the sidelines, slowing things down, and redirecting your focus, you're not only shifting the dynamic but also stepping into your own power. These strategies aren't about manipulation, they're about reclaiming your energy, respecting yourself, and embodying the Love Stoic philosophy, a way of approaching relationships with confidence, self-sufficiency, and a deep understanding of your worth. Remember, relationships flourish when they're built on mutual respect and effort. By creating a dynamic where he pursues you, you're inviting him to show you his best self. And when you're grounded in emotional stability, self-respect, and the abundance mindset, you're not just attracting him, you're attracting a relationship that enhances your already beautiful life. So here's my question to you. Which of these techniques will you start applying today? Whether it's setting stronger boundaries, limiting social media interactions, or embracing your independence, the smallest shift can create incredible results. You hold the power to transform not just your relationships but the way you see yourself, and that's where true magic begins. If you found value in this guide, let us know by liking this video and commenting number 1 below. Your voice is vital to this community, and your support helps us continue to create content that empowers you to thrive in love and life. And if you're ready for even more insights and strategies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Together, we're building a community of strong, confident women who know their worth and aren't afraid to live it fully. Thank you for being here, for investing in yourself, and for stepping into the confident, radiant person you're destined to be. Here's to mastering the art of attraction, creating deeper connections, and living a life you truly love. Stay tuned, your journey is just beginning. You've got this.